What's going on, YouTube? Old Joey Biden wants to get tough on the border all of a sudden, huh? I didn't have anything really crazy to talk about, and then I scroll Twitter right before I start the car up and head on home, and I see we're flipping on the border policy. Joe Biden's going to get tough on the border, supposedly, and start basically, as I understand it, do exactly what Trump was doing a while back. And I don't know if you remember, but I vaguely remember whatever he was doing. They were basically calling him racist and xenophobic and all these things for shutting the border down at one point. But it looks like Joe Biden's going to do the same thing, and I think it's pretty obvious why. I don't know how many videos ago that was, maybe 6-7 videos ago. I was talking about what's important. Basically, if you poll voters in the United States, what are the topics they're most concerned with? Immigration's right up there at the tip top, right along with the economy. So I'm assuming the whole reason they're doing this is just because people are getting fed up and they're starting to get pissed off a little bit, start aggravating people. Your policy on immigration hasn't been popular, I guess, is what it is. So they're trying to flip on that, trying to do a little 180 and try to backtrack on it. And basically, I was listening to somebody talk about it as well. They said they think he's probably doing it basically in advance of this debate he's about to have with Trump. So when Trump hits him with an immigration thing, he can go, "Oh, well, I toughened it up. I'm actually doing exactly what you were doing." And like I said, I don't know all the details. I didn't read the executive order or anything, but it sounds like he's pretty much just copying what Trump did earlier, which, like I said, was considered like too harsh of an immigration policy when he was doing it, but now apparently it's okay. And all in all, though, I think it's too little too late type of situation. And I think it's interesting. You're going to try to flip on it. I mean, you let it ride for over 3 years. I don't know, you've seen the video, seen the meme of Kamala Harris saying "do not come." They basically put on this face of we're not inviting people to come, but basically rescinded all consequences if you would come illegally to the United States. So basically you just invited anybody and everybody to show up. And as far as I know, immigration numbers are like through the fucking roof, highest they've ever been. Which is weird because I'm torn on the general subject. I mean, in my mind, immigration in general isn't a bad thing, but you would hope we take care of people in the United States first, and at a minimum do that. But then in two, you want to help those in need type thing, and then besides that, you want to get basically any other people that are coming to the United States that are coming for the opportunities. I mean, I still think this country is by far and away the best place to live basically in the world, and I think that's obvious by how many people want to come here and apparently are coming here. There's a shitload of people coming. So I mean, if they're the good people, the smart people, they want to work hard and they have the motivation to basically just do as best for themselves as they can in their life. I mean, I can't fault them at all for that. Fucking go for it, especially if the government's not going to do anything about it. I mean, what are they supposed to do? You're in a bad situation. There's an opportunity for a better situation. If I was in their shoes, I'd probably do the same thing. So I can blame it on them, but I can't blame it on the government for basically saying, fuck a U.S. citizen, fuck our homeless population, screw the veterans, anybody who's struggling in the United States. As far as I understand, if you're an asylum seeker or one of these immigrants that are basically like from at least a war-torn country, or you're being persecuted in some way. I mean, they're doing as crazy as shit. I think New York was giving them just money for a little while. Like, you're getting a visa so you can work, but then you're basically just getting cut a check as well. So New Yorkers, I know there's nobody here watching this shit from New York, but if for some reason you catch a little bit of it, I mean, does it feel good to have your tax money just be used on immigrants from other countries that you don't know, don't have the same values as you, don't know anything about it, versus how many homeless people you got in New York that could use a little help? So that's interesting to me. I don't understand it. Ohio, not a whole lot of homeless in Ohio or anything like that, but I do know there's a decent immigrant population that comes here. In Columbus, like where I work, as far as I know, there's a huge Somali population. that lives down in Columbus, and then back where I'm from, there's a couple towns where like my dad is from and where he lives up there in general. That's like a large Mexican population, people that come, basically workers, migrant workers that come in the summers and farm fields. They farm vegetables. So I mean, those kind of people, you're coming here to work. You're coming here to like I said, there's an opportunity. You're going to take it. Can't even fault them for it. Would never fault them for it. But the government just letting anybody and everybody in without even, basically you just walk over and there's no, I mean, we have laws against it, but if you don't enforce the law, what's the fucking point of the law? Doesn't matter. So he's gonna come out and say, and I'm sure after you watch this video, go look. I'm sure they're saying Biden's being tough on the border, blah blah blah. He's gonna tighten up the border because he thinks it's a big issue for voters. And it's like, well, where the fuck were you for 3.5 years, bro? You just let it be basically wide open, as far as I understand, for the last 3.5 years. And I'm not the most educated on it, but like a straight gut check feeling of it is, I understand where people come from. They don't want migrant workers coming over and taking jobs that Americans could take. I'm torn on that. I don't know. Half the jobs, I don't know. Are they really taking American jobs, or are they really just being exploited by these companies to work basically the cheapest, shittiest jobs? But here you make way more money than where they're from. So, I mean, who knows? But it'll be interesting to see economically how it impacts things, because we're on that slide down, I think, right now of the economic numbers are starting to look tougher. Jobs numbers just came out. The job openings are going down. Unemployment's going up a little bit. So they're about to tighten the border up, which means less of these illegal immigrants that could come over and work for really cheap and basically pump up these employment numbers. So we'll see if that has an impact. All these jobs, maybe we're getting inflated by how good the jobs market looked by basically, I don't know how many millions of people that have come over in the last 2 or 3 years, as far as I know. So I would assume they're working, and if they're not working, either they're working and pumping the employment numbers up, which makes our economy look better than it really is for American citizens or whatever, or they are basically, if they get benefits, basically, I don't know if they get the same benefits that I got when I was a young kid. Like, my family grew up, whatever, Medicaid or Medicare, whichever one, basically the poor people's insurance, that's what my family was on. So I don't know if they get access to that, but I would rather it go to Americans first and basically take care of our own first and see. But I don't know, it's going to be crazy if they start tightening the border up and you see those unemployment numbers skyrocketing. I mean, that's basically, I mentioned it in other videos, but that's basically what the Fed's trying to do with this. They keep the rates high, they want employment to go up, and basically send us into a recession. And they're trying to manage the recession right now, but they want to basically send us into a recession to manage our inflation. So it'll be crazy. I don't know if that would be something that could kick it off, but I don't know. It's been going on for a while with this hot job market, and it looks like it's starting to cool off. And once they tighten this border up a little bit, I don't know how tight they're going to get with it. But if they basically implement what Trump was doing before, I think it's basically shutting the whole border down in general while they try to get it under control, because, I mean, it's obviously not under control. So, I don't know. Maybe next Joe Biden will come out and say, build the wall. That'll be a real flip. That'd be a big 180. Fucking, I don't know. It seems like, I don't know, Trump maybe, since he's not a typical politician, is big, like, populist. He wants to, like, basically say, hey, we want to shut immigration down and try to help people. But generally, if you're thinking Republican, Democrats are for, like, pretty much open borders, like anybody can come in. They've been trying to pass shit where they can let people vote that are illegal, which is a whole nother fucking topic. We can go into that some other time. That's insane. And Republicans act like they're really against it, but at the same time, they just fucking hire these people for cheap ass wages, undercut American workers, and basically drive wages down. And it's another topic we could go into sometime when men and women are both in the workforce. Obviously, I think the whole point of that was basically to get as many people as you can to be able to work. So if they can bring illegal immigrants in, you bump that workforce number up, supply of the workforce goes up, the wage they can demand goes down. I mean, that's basic economics, and it makes sense to me. I don't know how accurate that is, but like I said, is that logical? I think so. I don't think it's that complicated. You have more people that can work these unskilled jobs, like unskilled labor jobs, construction jobs, all these things where it's just, hey, you're willing to work your ass off? Come on. And they'll hire these people that will get paid less than you're willing to get paid because you can barely afford what the fuck what you have right now, let alone take a pay cut, basically. So I think Republican motivation, basically cheap labor. Democratic motivation is buy votes and basically get people into the country they think agree with them. So looks like we're fucked either way. I don't really know how this goes. We'll see if it actually does anything. I have a feeling it won't. I think Biden's kind of full of shit on this. Like I said, I think he's just flipping because it's about election time. And hey, it's time to get your voters in line and maybe at least give them a talking point that you've been tough on it in the last 6 months or whatever. But who knows? If you're still watching this part of the video, I don't know. What's your initial instinct on immigration? You pro immigration or anti? Like I said, I'm very in the middle. Like obviously the ideal. I'm Ellis Island, baby. Like that's dope. That's dope shit. Bring me you're tired and you're hungry and stuff. That's great stuff. Great ideal, but seems like our execution's a little fucking off. And like I said, if we can't take care of the people that are already here, what the fuck are we doing? So let me know what you think in the comments. Drop a like if you got something out of the video. Dislike it if you didn't. Let me know why. Catch you guys tomorrow.